And so under LIFO, it says that the last putters in are the first to go out. So we start out, we still had 17 putters sitting in at the beginning of the month at $68. That's the same. Nothing has changed. That's for beginning inventory balance. And when we go to sell them, even though we're going to use LIFO, we still only have one layer of inventory, right? So even though we're using LIFO, we still have to take it out of this layer. So we're going to say that we sold 7 putters at $68 for a total cost of $476. 10 putters left in the store. That had cost us $68 each, $680. So when we sold, when there's only one layer of inventory, whether it's FIFO or LIFO, it stayed the same. It's only when you have multiple layers of inventory that you have to calculate which inventory went out the door. And that's going to happen on November 8th. We're going to create a new layer of inventory because on November 8th, we are buying 20 putters. We are still paying $74 a putter, and it still costs us $1,480. And we are still going to have 2 layers of inventory at the time we purchase, right? 10 at the 68, 680. It's all still the same. And we've got another layer, 20 at 74 for 1480. All still the same. Looks the same. However, on the 17th, when we go to sell putters and we're using LIFO, now which putters are we going to assume sold? Well, under LIFO, we say the last putters in, these 20, are going to be the first to go out. So we sold 20 putters on the 17th. We're selling 20 putters on the 17th. Which 20 putters are we going to sell? Well, there's 20 in this layer. We're going to assume that all 20 of the putters we sold are going to come out of this layer. And we're going to assign a cost of goods sold of those 20 putters, 20 times 74. And we're going to assign the entire cost to this layer of putters. And in this case, we're going to go ahead and wipe out that whole layer of inventory. Which putters are left? Those oldest ones. The last ones in were the first to go out, so what remains in inventory are your oldest. Those 10 putters that had cost us $68 a piece. Now on the 30th, we sell 4 more putters. We're going to go ahead and put down those 4 that we sold. And at what cost are we going to assign? Well, the only ones left were the 10 putters at a cost of $68. So the cost of that sale to us, 4 times the 68, 272. How many putters do we have sitting in the store? Well, there's still only 6 putters sitting in the store, just like there. However, now the 6 putters sitting in the store are going to have what cost assigned? 68. And so now the value of our ending inventory is going to be the 6 times the 68 for $408. So how many total putters did we sell at the end of the month? Well, we still sold 31 putters. But now the total cost using LIFO will be the 476 plus the 1480 plus the 272 for a total cost of those putters assigned value 2,228. And we're going to assign a cost in our inventory of the 6 putters at $68 a piece for a total value in our ending inventory of $408. And isn't it interesting? Just by changing a different method, and we're selling the same amount of putters, we're buying the same amount of putters, but we're going to assign a cost under FIFO. We're going to say that those putters that we sold cost $2,192. If we choose FIFO, they were going to say that they cost us $2,228 because in times of rising prices, those last putters that came in, they cost us more. And if we're saying they're the first to go out, then that cost would be more. Let's go ahead and do the last, which is weighted average. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this down so we can still see it. When we work on the weighted average, we can still see the data. And we're going to be calculating the weighted average. So under weighted average, we still started with 17 putters in our inventory from the previous month. And we still sold 7 putters on the 6th, and we only have these to choose from. So we assigned the cost of $68 and the inventory we assigned the $68 inventory cost. But under weighted average, and here's the important part, under weighted average, every time we add AA, the AA of inventory, average is anonymous, every time we add, the weighted average will change. So on the 8th, we purchased 20 putters. 20 putters came in the store, and we were charged $74 per putter for a total cost to us of 20 times 74 or $1,480. Now to figure out what the weighted average cost of the putters in the store, because we have 10 putters at $68 and we have 20 putters at $74, what is the weighted average? Well, in order to do so, you have to take the total cost that's sitting in your inventory, add it to the total cost of your purchases, and then take that number and that's how we do it in Excel. We put parentheses and we divide that number by the total number of putters in the store, which is 10 plus 20 or 30 putters. So the weighted average cost per putter is $72. So again, to calculate the new unit cost per putter under the weighted average, we're going to take the total cost of the inventory on hand, add it to the total cost of our purchases, add those two numbers together, and then divide by the total quantity that we now have in the store. The ones that were on hand plus the purchases, 30 putters. So we have 30 putters that together have a total cost of $680 plus $1,480, $2,160, $2,160 divided by 30 gives us $72 as a weighted average cost per putter. And the only time you have to calculate that is when you add. You're going to see in the sales, you just get to apply that number until the next time you add. So on the 17th, we sold 20 putters, and the cost, the weighted average cost, was $72 a putter, as we had previously calculated. 20 times 72 gives you a cost assigned to that cost of goods sold of $1,440. We have 10 putters left in our store at a weighted average cost of $72. The value in our inventory at that time is $720. Then on the 30th, we sold 4 putters with a weighted average cost of $72. So 4 times 72 gives you a weighted average cost on that sale of $28. You have 6 putters in the store at an average cost of $72. You've got 6 times 72. The value in your inventory is $432. $432 is your ending inventory balance. You've got 6 putters on hand. Your total cost of goods sold, you would add the total cost of your 3 sales. Gives you a total cost of goods sold under the weighted average of $2,204, and you still sold 31 putters. And so if you notice that between the FIFO being at $2,192, the cost of goods sold, and under LIFO it was $228, under weighted average, the average falls right between the LIFO and FIFO numbers. So the very last step is to figure out the gross profit. And if you'll remember in video 1, we said that our total sales number up above, the total value of sales, taking the different numbers of sales times the sales price, under each method, our total sales dollars, sales revenue, was $3,968. So $3,968. We can go and write $3,968. That's how much, regardless of the method, that is what our sales revenue was. But what changed is the cost of the goods sold. We're going to go ahead and look in each of our tables. Under FIFO is $2,192. There you go. Cost of your goods sold, $2,192. Under LIFO, it was 2228, and under weighted average, it was 2204. Oops, we go 2204. the cost of the goods sold, and we can take the sales revenue, what we sold the putters for, subtract out the cost of the goods, the cost we paid for the putters. That will give us our gross profit under each of the costing assumptions. So let me go ahead and finish that. And you can see how different. Oops, so we got this. I put that one in incorrectly. It's 2192, not 3192, and I could see I was wrong immediately because the profit was so far off. Let's go ahead and change it to 2192. That's ways that you can check your own work, because what you should see are profits which are similar yet different. The profit, depending on the method you choose, will change under FIFO because you are using the oldest prices to allocate to the cost of goods sold in a time of rising prices. The profit looks like it is higher because you're using less cost. Under LIFO, it looks like the profit is less because you are using newer costs, and weighted average falls somewhere in between because we're using a weighted average. And so that is how we calculate cost of goods sold, assign ending inventory values, how we calculate what our sales revenue would be, and what our profits are using the different types of inventory and cost of goods sold valuation methods.